with age group training, right?
Yeah.
Let's get started with those younger kids, probably 10 and under, 12 and under. Starting, maybe people who just started club, maybe people who just are starting to get into swimming and maybe struggling a little bit with where to start, what they should focus on. Because when you get into swimming, there's so much. There's so much that like you just need to focus on: your pull, your kick, your stroke, your technique, the turns, everything. So I think as an age grouper, as a younger swimmer, you should be focusing on your stroke mechanics, your technique. Because once you get into the higher groups, the senior groups, and you're actually training and getting faster, if you don't have a good stroke, it's going to be tough.
It is.
It's going to be tough. Like, you need to fundamentally, you need to be there in order to, hit those harder sets. And because once you get into the higher, yardage, if your stroke starts to fall apart, if you're not thinking about your stroke and how it should feel, how it should look, it's just going to fall apart, and your training is just not going to be as useful, not useful, as like productive as it could be.
Right.
Your stroke needs to be sound in order to hit those harder sets, right?
Right.
Because as you fatigue and your stroke starts to fall apart, that's just when it's no longer a productive set.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know that firsthand when I was younger.
Yeah.
But I definitely know that.
Definitely focusing on those smaller portions of, how my catch should be. Should I get that high elbow, right? If you're a mid-distance swimmer, how should I, be more narrow? How can I have my stroke more effective through the resistance of the water? And then, for any stroke, breaststroke, like the mechanics of just that timing is so crucial. And just at every stroke, it just you need to have a sound, solid, fundamentally good stroke before you start implementing and building in that strength and that speed and that resistance that makes swimmers so powerful.
Right.
For sprinters and distance swimmers, truly.
Yeah.
You look at, before you look at sprinters and they could be linebackers, dude. They're just massive guys.
Yeah.
And distance swimmers used to be just like scrawny. But NCs, you could look at somebody and be like, oh yeah, that guy's a sprinter. Nope, that guy's a mile sprinter.
Yeah.
Like, everybody's just massive now. But in order to like build into that, you gotta have a sound stroke. You gotta be there fundamentally. Yeah. The other thing I'd suggest for age groupers is when you're training at practice, you're focusing on so many different things throughout that 2-hour practice, right?
Definitely.
But you also need to put in that after practice work, right? Like, you think of really any sport: basketball, soccer, football. When you go to practice, what are you working on? You're working on team strategies, right?
Right.
Working on basketball, you're working on inbounding plays, you're working on your offense, you're working on your defense, but you don't really have a lot of time to work on your shot, work on your free throws, work on your dribbling, right? It's the same thing for swimming. When in practices, you're going to be focusing on a lot of things: building your endurance. You're going to do some stroke and technique. You're going to work on building your kick, building, everything, but you need to work on it after practice. You need to work on the small things, work on your underwater kicks, working on your turns, working on that start. Like, you need to start putting in more work after practices, before practices, because that's what's going to make you a stronger and better swimmer.
Right. Definitely. Like, also when you're in a young kid starting to swim, I think it's very important to, work on every stroke.
Mm-hmm.
Not just one stroke that you like. And I know it's tough. Like, when I was younger, I didn't like doing butterfly or backstroke that much, but if you work on it, like, you'll get better at every stroke. We always say that. But when you're younger, I think it's very important to swim every stroke.
Oh yeah, I think too many people get tied down with, oh, I'm a butterfly, or
Right.
oh, I'm a breaststroke, or I'm a freestyler and I hate breaststroke, I can't do it, blah blah
Right.
blah. We'll work on it.
Yeah, definitely.
Right? Like, if you say you're bad at it, what are you gonna go through the next 10 years? Oh, I'm just bad at it. I'm not gonna do it.
Can't do it.
No, you gotta work on it.
Right.
You gotta get yourself better at it. And not only will you become, better at that stroke, but it'll also help on all your other strokes.
Right.
I mean, all the strokes are really tied together in your feel for the water and the stroke mechanics. I mean, the butterfly pulls so, close to the freestyle pull. That's why you see a lot of freestyle butterflyers, right?
Yeah.
Same thing with backstroke. That rotation is so similar in freestyle. That's why you see a lot of freestyle and backstrokers.
Right.
And so a lot of those stroke mechanics will help. And if you're a butterflyer, right, work on your freestyle. Your freestyle, if that gets better, your butterfly is going to get better.
Definitely.
If you're a backstroker, work on your freestyle. It goes hand in hand. It really does.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, good stuff.